we went to the joiner and we achieved a flat face. Remember, this area of the board is the face. This is also the face. This is the end. And this was the edge. Edges on both ends. This is also an end, two edges, two faces, blah, blah, blah. All right, so what we have right now looks like this. We have a flat bottom and a square corner. The other side of it is not square, and I realize what I'm doing here is an exaggeration. And it also has a convex part to it. So right here we have a 90-degree angle. And that was the job of the joiner. That's the sole job of the joiner. Flat face, flat edge, 90-degree angle. So now, we still have to do two things in this squaring process. We have to, A, get a second face on this. That's going to be even with the first. So we have to remove that convex crown there. We're going to get a second edge on this. That's going to be 90-degree angle to both faces. Does that make sense? Okay. Now certainly, we can go back and we can just do the other edge on here. And we do their face on here. And we would make them flat and 90 degrees to each other. But there wouldn't be any uniformity in the thickness, meaning that if I measure the thickness here at X, and measure the thickness here at Y, the joiner is not going to give us any guarantee that those two thicknesses are the same, so the board's not going to be, we can't give it any name on the thickness because it varies along the whole length of it. You can see on this board here, that we're even thinner on this side than we are on here right now. And going back to the joiner wouldn't change that. So what we're going to do is we're going to give ourselves a table that this will sit on. And this time we're going to have the cutting be from above. So that we'll be able to reference the first face that we did and make the second face parallel to that. To do that, we're going to use the planer. So let's walk on over. So I need to get this rough face parallel to the first one here. So I need a line that's going to be something like this. Right? I'm going to open this up and I'm going to show you what this looks like on the inside, which means I have to turn the breaker off and I have to open up this Allen wrench here. So I will. It's loose enough that I should be able to do with the key here. Now I'm going to turn the breaker off so I can open this up. Always check to make sure you got the right breaker. So here is the belt. There's two things that drive this thing. There's a chain and there's a belt. The chain is what's going to drive the rollers that feed the board through, because that happens at much slower pace. The belt is what's going to turn the blades that are going to spin towards the board to cut the top off there. So let's look down here. These parts here are teardrop shaped, so they have a point on the bottom side that when the board goes past it, it doesn't allow it to come back because the point digs into it. So those are called anti-kickback fingers. Next, if we look through here, we can see what looks like kind of like a tank tread in between there. You can't see it very well in the video there, but that looks like a tank tread inside there, and that is for, can you maybe get right up in there? Yeah, see the tank treads in there? That's to feed the board in. Next, we have these spring-loaded chip-out fingers. They prevent the wood from just chipping out the entire length of it. Then we have the blade, which has 3 high-speed steel blades that extend the 20-inch length. And on the back side here, we have a rubber-coated roller, which gets the board to roll out the back side. Okay? I'm going to turn my breaker back on. Yeah. That's a good idea. And I'm going to get a pair of headphones. Okay? When you wear headphones in here, you are welcome. You're welcome to spray them down, wipe them down with the materials that we have here. This is a loud machine, and it's going to be louder when I turn my desk collection unit on. So first thing I have to do is I have to figure out where I want to start making my cuts. There's a scale on the side here, and there's rulers that are attached here as well. So I'm going to measure what the thickness of this is in the middle. Because if this is convex here, then it stands to reason that my thickest points are going to be towards the middle here. And right now I'm measuring about 1 1/32, about 1/2 16th there. Let me see if the other side is thicker. Right there it's 1 1/16. I'm going to set my planer to 1 1/16. So really, during my first pass, there's almost nothing that's going to be taken off. So I roll it down until my scale comes to the 1 1/16 mark. There's the 1. There's 1/16 below it. I'll put my glasses on, headphones on, and I'm going to walk to the corner and turn the vacuum on. Make sure my chute's open. That center hub, that convex portion of it. Worth me mentioning, because a lot of people are confused on this, that if we had not gone to the joiner first and achieved a flat bottom here, this thing would have had a warped board or a cup board going in. The roller would have flattened that, and it would have taken an even amount off the board, and when it came out, it would spring back up to what it was. You wouldn't be taking out the warp. You'd be taking off thickness, and that would be uniform, and it would go right back to having that warp. So by having a flat surface here, it can't push down. There'll be no cavity below it here. So we're going to get this board to be consistent thickness the whole way across. Some safety issues with this. If you notice, every time I use this, I'm bringing this table up closer to those cutters a little bit. We don't want to ever take this table up to a thickness that would be less than 3/8 of an inch. 3/8 means our rollers and our blades are 3 inches away from 3/8 of an inch away from each other. That's getting pretty close. We don't want our blade and our table to ever touch. So if we go less than that, which we can, we're going to put a board below it. So that if I'm going to cut, let's see if I can find a nice thin piece here. So here I have a board that's about 1/4 of an inch thick. Let's say I wanted to cut this down. Putting this in here like that would be having our table and our blade very close to each other. But if I were to put that onto this piece here, and then measure what the combined thickness was. So I'm going to set it for 1 inch. And then I'm going to put these two together. I can get my thickness down to 1/4 of an inch, but I can do it safely. So a backer board just has a little bit of cleat to hold on to the back edge of the board there, and it elevates things so that you don't have a steel tabletop coming up into your blade there. The planer is for making the second face parallel to the first face. We only take off a 1/16 of an inch at a time, and the board that travels through has to be at least 12 inches in length. Beyond that, we only do the faces. We're not doing the edges at this stage, and we never do the end grade. So anything that was 12 inches to go through the joiner should be fine to go through the planer. We'll talk more about it in class.